Hello and welcome to another Big Orbit Games unboxing video. I'm Chris and today we will be unboxing a Chandra Planeswalker deck from Dominaria. So let's have a look at what's in it first. So you get the deck box, you get a full 60 card deck including Chandra Planeswalker and two 15 card Dominaria booster packs, as well as a couple of other like strategy insert things as well. This deck looks to be quite interesting. It seems to be a very ramp-oriented deck. Okay, this is where I failed to get this card out. Come on, Chandra. Trying to get cards out of those boxes without damaging them is a pain, I have to say. So Chandra, Bold Pyromancer, is the Planeswalker from the front. So she is 6 mana. Comes in at 5 loyalty. Her +1 is add 2 red, and she deals 2 damage to target player. Note it says player and not Planeswalker. You can't redirect this damage to a Planeswalker. They've changed the rules slightly on this, and you'll see why in a second, because they actually state whether you can target a Planeswalker or not. So her -3 is she deals 3 damage to target creature or Planeswalker. So as you can see, it didn't state Planeswalker in the first one, so you can't target a Planeswalker. It states it in the second one, so you can. And her -7 is she deals 10 damage to target player and each creature and Planeswalker they control. So if you manage to ultimate her, that's a lot of damage flying around. So I don't think this one's too bad actually as far as Planeswalkers go. The artwork is quite nice. She's got a whole sort of Becky Lynch thing going on there with the goggles. But yeah, quite a nice card. And then we have the nice deck box. She's looking very angry there. It says Chandra on the side. And in said deck box, we have our 2 booster packs. We have our before you play guide. Let's just let the camera focus. There it goes. Before you play. Let's just open that up. So you got playing the deck. Just gives you a bit of strategy there. Common card mechanics. So +1/+1 counters haste, kicker. A little bit of explanation of the rules and some random advert on the back. And I'm not going to be able to do that. There it goes. Cool. Sorted. Weirdly, there it is. The quick reference guide is holding this up. This is where I can't. There it is. Okay. Ooh, that was loud. Let's get into the deck. It's stuck to me. Get off. Stupid static. Alright, so the strategy insert is actually very, very useful, like the quick reference guide. Basically shows you a breakdown. Wow, the glue on that is tough this time around. Gives you the breakdown of the turn. I always use these when I'm teaching new players because it's kind of like handy for them to, rather than keep asking questions, because some people don't like asking a lot of questions. You can just have this out and they can just read. No one likes interacting with people, right? And a few other extra little rules there. So, onto the deck. Got Chandra's Outburst. So this is one of the search for a Planeswalker ones. So 5 mana for a sorcery, it deals 4 damage to target player or Planeswalker, and search your library and or graveyard for a card named Chandra Bold Pyromancer, reveal it, put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. So 2 of those to search up the Chandra. Then you've got Marwyn, the Nurturer. He's a 3 mana 1/1, and when another elf enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on him, and you can tap him and add an amount of green equal to Marwyn's power. So he comes out, he's a 1, like he generates 1 mana. Bring out a couple of elves, suddenly he's generating like 3, 4, 5 mana. It's pretty good. Gilded Lotus, again another kind of ramp card. So 5 mana, Tap it to add 3 mana of any one colour. Llanowar Elves, more ramp. Let's put those there actually because they're the rares from the pack. So Llanowar Elves, classic card really. So 1 green, tap it to add green. It's a 1/1. Gitu Chronicler. So you've got a Human Wizard. So 2 mana, 1/3 with kicker 4. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. That's actually another way to get Chandra's Outburst out again. Like if your Chandra dies again, then you can just keep like recurring it. It's pretty cool. Elfheim Druid. So 2 mana, 0/2. Yeah, it just adds green. Or you can add double green and spend it only to cast kicked spells. So you don't actually have to use it to pay the kicker cost. You can use it for the spell itself and use other mana for the kicker cost, but it doesn't. Most of the kicker costs have some degree of like colourless mana involved anyway, so it's fine. 3 of those. Then you got Pyromantic Pilgrim. This is another Planeswalker pack only card, so 3 mana, 3/1 with haste, and it's a wizard, which is relevant. I mean, it's not particularly good. It's not bad either. Like, it's not awful. It's alright. You'd probably want to replace it, I imagine. The wizard tag is fairly useful. Krosan Druid, 3 mana, 2/3, Centaur Druid with kicker 5. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, gain 10 life. Yeah, it's a card. I mean, 2 mana, 2/3 isn't 3 mana, 2/3. Sorry, isn't great. The kicker is situational. Yeah, Karplusan Hound. So another Planeswalker pack card. It's got 4 mana, 3/3. Whenever it attacks, if you control a Chandra Planeswalker, this creature deals 2 damage to any target. So yeah, not too bad. Again, it's all right. Gaia's Protector, 4 mana, 4/2, and it must be blocked if able. Some people see it as a downside, but in theory it's technically upside because they don't have the option to not block it. So yeah, they can get favourable trades, but you just wouldn't attack with it if they had favourable trades. Although you have sunk 4 mana into this 4/2 that is now doing nothing, but apart from blocking. I mean, yeah, it's not actually that bad. So Baloth Gorger is a great card in this deck, I would say. So 4 mana, 4/4 with kicker 4. If it was kicked, it becomes a 7/7. Just solid. Like, play it like early-ish mid-game as a 4/4. Play it late game as a 7/7. Flexibility. It's very good. Fire Elemental, 5 mana, 5/4. Not much to say. Grun the Lonely King, 6 mana, 5/5 with kicker 3. If it was kicked, it enters with 5 +1/+1 counters on it, which is pretty good. If it attacks alone, double its power and toughness until end of turn. So it can be, attacking as a 20/20. It doesn't have trample, so your opponent's 1/1 chump blocker can soak up all that damage. If you give it trample, it's great. Then you got Primordial Worm as well, so 6 mana, 7/6. It's just a good kind of stompy thing to ramp into. So that's the creatures and a couple of... Is that just creatures? Yeah, that was just creatures. Solid creature base, really. Then you got your land, so some basics there. And Shivan Fire, another solid card, so 1 mana, deal 2 damage, or pay the kicker a 4 and it suddenly deals 4 damage. Again, flexibility is pretty good on that. Gift of Growth, untapped target creature, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, it gets +4/+4 until end of turn instead, for 2 mana. So play it on your Grun, hope he gets trample, and then when he goes to combat and if he attacks alone, then you double the 4 as well, so suddenly he becomes like a 28/28 if he's been kicked already. Pierce the Sky, kind of bad version of Plummet, I guess. Yeah. Fight with Fire. This is actually pretty good, to be honest. So 3 mana, deal 5 damage to target creature. If it was kicked, it deals 10 damage, divided as you choose among any number of targets instead. The kicker is 6, so yeah, that's 9 mana to deal 10 damage, but split however you choose. Or 3 mana to deal 5 damage to a creature. Overall, pretty good. Fiery Intervention, 5 mana, choose 1, deals 5 damage to a target creature or destroy target artifact. Useful. Then you got Timber Gorge, a playset of, which are always good to have. So let's put that on the land pile. Overall, it's a bit of a weird deck. Like, it doesn't seem like you're particularly ramping into anything, apart from like a 7/6 and Grunt. And yeah, there's some cool kicker stuff, but it's not amazing. But let's open these packs and see what we get, and see if you could add anything from the packs into the deck. So you've got Tragic Poet, Radiating Lightning. That could potentially go in. Mammoth Spider, it's alright. Mana Elves, you could flesh it out and get your playset going if you really wanted the ramp. Fiery Intervention, you could add another one if you really wanted. Wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but Warcry Phoenix, this one you could probably put in. I mean, 4 mana, 2/2, Flying Haste. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you can pay 3, and if you do, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped and attacking. It's not bad. Bed, Steward of Argive, Territorial Allosaurus. This one you could definitely just throw in the deck. So 4 mana, 5/5 is just solid. If you pay the kicker cost of 3, it also fights something when it comes in, so it's kind of like removal as well. I mean, that could almost certainly just slot straight in the deck. You'd take out probably that wizard, to be honest. Yeah, probably the Pyromantic Pilgrim. What else is on 4? The Hound. Maybe Fire Elemental. There's a few things you could take out creature-wise to just slot that in. Because you want it to be 30-60 cards, just for consistency. Then we've got Arcane Flight, Dub, Frenzied Rage. That's not a bad one to get, because you could put that on Grun, and then suddenly he has Menace, which is some sort of evasion, which is always good. Gaia's Protector, you could put another one in if you really wanted. We'll take Servant, Shivan Fire, you could put another one in. Gaia's Blessing. 2 mana for a sorcery, target player shuffles up to 3 target cards from their graveyard into their library, and you get to draw a card. If it's put into your graveyard from your library, shuffle your graveyard into your library. It's not amazing. That can definitely go in the deck. So, Halar the Fire Fletcher. 1, a red and a green for a 3/3 with Trample. Whenever you cast a spell, if it was kicked, put a +1/+1 counter on Halar, and then Halar deals damage equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on it to each opponent. In this sort of deck, that is great. You would definitely find room for that. And then you got Jaya's Immolating Inferno. Again, you could easily find room for this. 2 red and X for a legendary sorcery. If you put this guy in, that's an extra target for having a legendary on the battlefield. And Jaya's Immolating Inferno deals X damage to each of up to 3 targets. That is a solid finisher for the deck. So yeah, I mean, those packs were actually pretty good for kind of adding into the deck, which does need a little bit of improvement. It's not bad straight out of the box. You could play a few games against like someone with another Planeswalker pack, and you'd get some good games in. They'd be very close. If you want to improve it, there's a lot of room for improvement. You can stay with the kicker theme, and it's still a solid deck, but good basis. And yeah, remember you can buy and sell all the cards you've seen in this video today on our website, bigorbitcards.co.uk. Stay tuned for more Dominaria unboxing videos. We'll be doing all of the set as it comes out, so the booster box, the Planeswalker packs, the bundles as well. So yeah, we shall see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.